You and I have been programmed. We've been programmed to go to school, pay your bills on time, pay back your debt. You see, the easiest way, like I said again, to control a group of people is to place them in the box. It's to make them think they're not being controlled. The government has set in place to entrap you, to keep you in chains. What's going on, y'all? I am so passionate about making this video because it means a lot to me. And I'm so excited that I get to sit here, turn this camera on, and really make a video telling you things that I've learned and bring to you this information that you probably have not heard, but you probably have also heard, and share with a bunch of people out there in this world things that have changed my life and keys that have opened my eyes to see. But before we make this video, I want to give you some context before we start this video to have a better understanding of why I'm making this video and what led me to making this video. I am a 22-year-old who made a decision to get out of the military. Not only did I make a decision to get out of the military, I made a decision to never work a job a day in my life again. That means I took a risk that was probably not gonna work, looking at how the world pans out. But I believed so much about purpose. I believed so much about who God says I am, and did not allow the odds of this world to keep me trapped in a box to end up like everybody else. This decision has given me the blessing to pursue my purpose and develop my skill as a day trader. The reason I made this decision is because I came across a truth that honestly a lot of us have not been told. We've been lied to our whole life. We've been programmed to believe a set of lies that people in high places have placed over us so we can be kept in a box. You and I have been programmed since birth to believe certain things, to act a certain way, to think a certain way, and to be limited to certain things, that we never ourselves take the time to really look past what we've been told. Now, a lot of people are stuck where they are today, not because they choose to be stuck, but they know nothing else but what they know now. And I always say this, the easiest way to control a group of people is to make them think that they are not being controlled. The reason why a lot of people are stuck in their life today following the crowd. Typical example, we've been programmed to go to school. Not only that, we've been programmed to just learn what is being taught to us, not to ever question anything. We're being told to get out of school with a diploma, and right after getting out of high school, go straight into looking for a college to go into, just to continue the cycle. Hold up. We go to college to then learn about a course or program that has nothing to do with who we are. We have no correlation or care about it or interest in it. We just have to pick something that we want to do for the rest of our lives. So we go get a degree, and then we end up getting a good job. And after getting the good job, the whole point of the job is to pay your bills on time, pay back your debt, go on vacations once or twice a year, just to retire and live a minimal life with a retirement account and just die. Tell me, what part of that whole scenario I put together sounds pleasing to you or fulfilling? None of it, but it's sad because this is a description of the majority of people living their lives today on earth. You may be one of them, but today you have come across this video and you can make a decision to really take action, because that was not how God intended this to be. God never intended our lives to go this way. God never intended our lives to be programmed like how the world has programmed it. Myron Golden says the cultural hypnotic society. This is the cultural hypnotic society where we've been programmed to think a certain type of way. You see, the easiest way, like I said again, to control a group of people is to place them in the box. Is to make them think they're not being controlled. And today you are making decisions that you think are coming out from your own mind. But let me shock you that those decisions you're making are actually not from your own mind. It is as a result of set of programmings that the government, people in high places, corporations, people pulling strings have put on you since birth. So you making a decision to go to college and get a degree and get a job because that's what you want to do. That's never what you wanted to do. That's what you were programmed to do. But I am glad to be able to break free from these chains that have been holding me bound since I was born. And not a lot of people get to escape these chains. And today, you're not finding this video by mistake or by chance. You're not finding this video because you just happen to stumble on it. This video is strategically placed here so you can start to rethink why you are here on this earth. Do not make a mistake by avoiding what I'm saying here because of fear of discomfort that you're gonna be put in a position to really rethink your whole life as to what you're hearing today. This is just the truth. And if you already have an understanding of what I'm saying in this video and you've never took action on it, it's about time you do something now, because you are wasting away your precious time and your precious gift inside of you. I believe that God has put an aspect of his creativity in each and every one of us today. And that creativity is what we call a gift. And that gift gives us expression of who we are as children of God, putting out there for the world. And living a normal life is not what God designed for you. This brings me to the first key that opened my eyes. You don't have to work a 9-to-5. A 9-to-5 is one of the many systems that the government has set in place to entrap you, to keep you in chains, to make you not think about why you're here on this earth, to make you not want to discover what's inside of you, because they know that if a group of people come together and they start to figure out and start to find out that something is fishy about waking up every single day, putting clothes on to go to an institution that has nothing to do with them, just to work a set amount of hours to go back home to their family, rinse and repeat over and over again for something called a paycheck. If the government knew that you started to find that fishy, they will be scared. But they're so good at what they're doing. They're so good at making the lie pretty that we all have fallen for it. I fell for the lies of the government. But now I know the truth. It's time that you know the truth as this message is coming forward to you. Now, don't get me wrong. There is nothing wrong with a 9-to-5 now. There's nothing wrong with you working a 9-to-5 now. But there's everything wrong with you after hearing this message, still having the mindset to stay in a 9-to-5. The reason why there's something wrong with that is because you are not giving yourself room and space to discover your God-given purpose. Because you know that the life you live in through a 9-to-5 is not fulfilling for you. You know that waking up in the morning and going to a job that you really do not like, if not hate, it's not fulfilling to your life. So that means there's something better than that. There has to be something outside of working a job that aligns with the purpose of God. And that is what we call living a life of purpose. You have to take that time to start to think, even as you are in your 9-to-5, to start to really look deep into yourself, because there gotta be something in you that needs to come out. God placed something in you, and for you to put that aside, just to fall for the lies of the system, to be entrapped where you at, because this is what you've been told to do. This is what everybody in your generation did. So I guess you're just going to follow. It has to end with you. You have to make a decision that you are going to change the trajectory of your family. You cannot just join the chain links. Don't just add on to the chaos of this world. Make a decision. That is why there's such a minimal amount of millionaires and billionaires as compared to the middle class and the poor. Because only a few people made a decision to take a risk that went against the grain. In order for you to be successful, you have to go against the grain. In order for you to be successful, you have to be able to have keys that open your eyes. The keys I'm giving you today. You have to have keys that open your eyes to see past the lies that you've been told your whole life. To see past the lies that have trapped you into making you the person you are today. I am here to tell you that there's something in you that has to come out, not a regular job, not living a life with no fulfillment, not worrying about waking up to an alarm the next day just because you have to go and report in for a job, or even go report in the military, whatever the case may be for you, wherever you at right now. If there is no fulfillment in the thing you are doing, you are not living according to the purpose of God. And it's up to you to decide to take time away from the life you are living now and find meaning, discover your purpose in what God created you for. I was once in a system. When I say system, I don't mean jail or prison. No. I mean the system that was built by the government to program all of us. You would call it the Matrix. The system that was built by the Matrix to literally keep us enslaved mentally. Literally, like, so many of us are mentally trapped that we can't see past what we've been told. You have to be curious enough to see past what you've been told today. You have to be curious enough to ask questions that people will not dare to ask. You have to be curious enough to ask if potentially there's a life better than what you're living now. You see, what a 9-to-5 does is prepare you for disaster. That's all a 9-to-5 does. Because you're already off track. You're already not living the purpose for which God created you. What a job does is derail you from the purpose from which God created you. I said earlier that there is no way that God took his time to put you and I on this earth just for us to live a mediocre life. Like, there has to be no way. According to God, it makes no sense. According to the deity of God, it makes no sense for that to be the possibility or the outcome of us human beings on this earth. I believe that the design for us human beings on this earth is for us to live life to its fullest potential. It's for us to discover the purpose God put in us, develop that purpose, and deploy that into the world. That means having fulfillment in the thing that we do. Yours may be different from mine, but if you've not taken the time to really find what's in you, that thing in you that gives you satisfaction, that thing in you that you love, that passion that you wake up every day, even though you're tired, you will dare and love to do. If you take that time to find that thing and start to allow these keys to open your eyes, to see past the lies, you will start to see that life starts to be more clearer and clearer and clearer. Then you start to be mind blown and open, like your eyes start to open, and you start to basically wonder how many people don't know this. You start to wonder how many people are stuck. Like, there is no way I know this. Like, you will be saying to yourself, there is no way you know this now. And you've been living your life that way this whole time. And you start to see how bad it is that we've been programmed to literally settle for nothing. I don't think God is happy with how we are living below our identity. There is no way God is satisfied with how we're living our life below our capabilities. Because if God has put an aspect of himself inside of you, there has to be no imperfection in that aspect. That means whatever you live your life to be has to be fulfilling in you. It shouldn't feel stressful. It shouldn't feel coerced. It shouldn't feel like you have to wake up every day and go work. It should feel like fulfilling, like I'm really doing this, like I enjoy doing this. I'm changing lives. I'm serving people. That's the whole point of the creation of us human beings. It's to live a life of fulfillment, to serve as many people as God puts our way, to change lives. That's the biggest part, and to please God. And if you're not doing that today, you're not living according to how God designed life to be. That means you have some thinking to do and some questioning to do. You have some break freeing to do. You have to break free from where you are now. You have to break free from what you've been told. You have to break free from the lies that has been imposed on you. Your beliefs, the things you believe today, are what are keeping you bound. And by the way, those beliefs are not because you chose to believe them. It's because they were imposed on you when you were a child. Maybe from your parents, maybe from friends, maybe from the people around you, maybe from your environment. See, we are a set of programmings that is responsible for how we live life. We are basically a computer. And this computer, without programming, a computer is just a computer. Like, there's no purpose or means to it. The only way a computer can function as a computer is there is something called programmings that make it do a certain task, that make it function a certain type of way for it to be a functional computer. In order for you to be a functional human being, there has to be a set of programmings that are imposed in your mind. And these programmings can be bad, these programmings can be good. Unfortunately, the programs we have today are bad. But the programmings God wants us to have is what He has put in us: truth, life, and purpose. It's scary how many people don't take risk. It's scary to really see that a lot of people would rather settle for what they have now than take a risk, than dare to become something better than what they are now. And it's scary for a lot of people to think about the possibility of becoming better because they don't see past that. They don't see past their now. They don't see past what they are currently. But the best reward is found in the greatest risk. In order for you to get that reward, you have to be able to take a crazy amount of risk. And we normally think that when you take risk, it's meant to end bad because that's what we're being programmed to believe. But the actual design for risk is to remove the things in you that do not belong and add to you what belongs, so you can become the person to do the thing you took the risk to do. That's the whole point of a risk. Now, a risk taken without an intention for completion is just a waste of time. But a risk taken with the intention to have completion for whatever you took the risk for is what leads to that great reward. You see all these stories out here in this world from these successful people telling you that take the risk. You and I regret taking the risk because that is true. I don't regret taking the risk I took. Reason because I had an intention for completion. I had an intention that if I'm going to make a decision to do this thing, I am not going to stop at any stoplight, any red light. I'm not going to stop anywhere, any obstacle, and fear that this will never happen. I have complete tunnel vision on my objective, on what I want and who I am. Because I have a firm foundation of the truth. And the Bible says the truth will make you free. There's a reason why it says that. Because a lie makes you bound. But a truth makes you free. It starts to reprogram the right software inside of you. Not just any software, the right software. So you can start to walk in fulfillment. You can start to walk in abundance. You can start to live the life God has called you and I to live, not what we've been told to live. There is nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5 now. But there is everything wrong if you choose to stay there after hearing this video. Because we all have to start from somewhere. But to stay at where we started, now that's just out of pocket. That's just basically telling yourself that you could care less about who you are. You could care less about that seed that God has put in you, that He's waiting for you to plant so He can water, so it can grow to become something beautiful. You could care less about the beautiful person that God has took His time to make you to be. You could care less about your family, your daughter, your son, your brother, your sister. You could care less about your community, your environment. You could care less about anything because you do not want to take the time to be uncomfortable just for a little bit so that you can discover who you are and start to live in that way. If you guys will do this, if you will open your eyes to see that you've been programmed and you've been told to believe a lie, if you open your eyes to see and understand and believe that what you've been told since day one has been a complete lie. That you have personally have to go find the truth. You personally have to accept the truth and let it renew your mind. You personally have to remove all these mental blocks that are holding you bound from becoming the person God has made you to be. If this video is for you, do not ignore everything you heard today. Take action. And if you've heard this message before, do not keep ignoring what you've already heard. Take action. There is more to you than what you see now. There is more to you than who you are today. And God will love if you would take the time to be uncomfortable just for a little bit, for Him to build you up, for Him to help you find your purpose and live a life of fulfillment, not what you've been programmed to live. If you would take that time to be intentional about your life and open your eyes with the keys I've given you to see the truth, your life will drastically change. It will take time, but you will be on the right path. Do not live a life by default when you can always live one by design. Live life.